Welcome to Sound Values, powered in part by LSA Burger and Classic of Denton. The views and opinions expressed by the show hosts and their guests are those of the show host and guests, and not necessarily those of the sponsors, DentonRadio.com, or the Denton Convention and Visitors Bureau. For more information, visit the Policies and Procedures page at DentonRadio.com.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in tonight on DentonRadio.com. This is Sound Values. I am your host, Kind Beats, and we are broadcasting out of the beautiful Discover Denton Welcome Center on the getting very chilly Denton Square. All right, it's getting cold out there, so be careful. Y'all know I love to talk about the weather at the beginning of the show, but it's about music here on Sound Values. This is our first show of February, and I'm very excited to have our guests on tonight. We have Willow+Wife here. I want you guys to introduce yourselves. We'll start with this man right here.
Yes, hello. Thank you, Kind Beats, for having us.
Absolutely.
I am Willow, and this is Wife.
Hello. Oh my God.
Okay, so I'll give you guys a quick background. I don't remember how, but I'm gonna put your real name out there. Nick over here, he friend requested me some years ago on Facebook. He was one of the few people who liked my music back then. And though we've been friends and have commented back and forth, this is our first time meeting. So it's pretty cool. It's nice in person. You know, it's good to have those friends that we're like, I can always rely on this guy for inspiration. You know, great to have y'all on the show.
Yes,
great to have y'all on the show.
for
How
having
is
us.
y'all's
Of course,
2020
thank you.
going so far?
Phenomenal.
Amazing.
We haven't stopped yet. It
Yeah.
has been nonstop. We've
Yeah.
been super busy, but it's been really good.
Yeah.
So no
really
complaints.
rewarding.
Did you
Yeah.
guys have a show last week?
We did.
Where was
We
that?
did.
New
Yes.
Orleans.
New Orleans.
Yes.
Yes.
Downtown New Orleans, City Park. It was crazy.
Okay,
It was crazy.
we're gonna just jump right into it. Yeah, we just went to New Orleans. You know, how did that happen? What happened with that?
It was just word of mouth. People figure out we play music, and it was for the world's biggest line dance. They were trying to break the record for the world's biggest line dance, and so
It's amazing.
Yeah, it was crazy.
It's amazing.
We knew the event coordinator, and they loved our music. It was high energy dance festival, and the headliner was Cupid. The inventor of the Cupid Shuffle.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know that song, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
when we heard
As a wedding DJ, I know that.
Oh, you know
song.
that? Okay, absolutely. We were wedding DJs as well.
Yeah.
So when we heard we were playing with him, it was just like, holy cow, this is like a high school. This is crazy. This is a dream come true. So we played with him. It was a ton of people. Great experience. It was super fun. We're
That's
still
awesome.
tired from it.
That's awesome. All right.
recovering.
So now we'll revert back. Okay, so let's kind of talk. They kind of recorded before, and it sounds really good. So I'm excited for y'all to hear that. Now, can you please tell me exactly how to pronounce your name? I don't want to mess it up.
I got you.
Okay.
So it's Sudi.
Sudi.
Yes, but
Okay.
it's spelled like Zuri.
Because I would have come in here and called you Zuri or something. It's terrible.
It happens a lot.
Because that's the thing. When I hadn't met Nick or talked to him in person before, I just read your name.
Yeah, exactly. I know.
Okay, so how did you start singing? How did that start? Is this something
Yeah.
that's been a long time, or just you started doing it?
It has. Man, it's been, I feel like my whole life, really.
Okay.
I remember when I was like 3 years old, and I was like putting together like choreographies and dances, and I was always in kind of any kind of play or show or any activity. I was always dancing or up singing with the choir. So I've kind of done it like my whole life, but really started developing my own sound, I would say later in my teens.
Okay.
And then kind of did a little bit of my own music. It was a little more pop R&B with a little bit of EDM when it first started.
For sure, yeah.
And then we kind of met at the right time without even trying, and kind of mixed our sounds together after that.
Very cool, very cool. So how did you get started, man? Because when we just did a little pre-record here, I heard about 3-4 different styles, from the guitar to the little bit of flow that I heard, which was very impressive, to the singing as well, which you have a nice voice,
Thank
man.
you. I
You have a
appreciate
nice
it.
voice.
Thank you.
You're one of those guys who looks good and sings well. It's just not
no.
fair,
It does
buddy.
look
It's not
good,
fair.
huh?
Man, y'all are making me blush on
Whatever,
camera.
man. You'll be all
I
right.
always
You'll be
tell
all right. There are worse things. All right, there are worse things. So when did you start playing guitar?
Man, I started when I was really young, probably 6 or 7.
Okay.
I saw my dad play. I saw my grandfather play, and my grandfather drove up from Arizona and brought his old Gibson and left it with me, and I just couldn't stop playing it. So started around 6 or 7, and then just couldn't put it down, and have never stopped. Never stopped.
Yeah, it's I feel like, when you find that instrument, whether it's voice, guitar, drums, whatever, it can become very addicting.
Oh man, yeah.
Oh, for sure.
And I almost feel like I've like developed friendships just with musicians. Maybe that's why I live in Denton. I don't know. Maybe it's just that's how that happened. Is how you live in Denton. That's why your friends are musicians. But there's just something enjoyable, whether you play the guitar or not, to have people around you who play music. And
Absolutely.
so, how did y'all meet? How did these two musicians come together?
Oh man, do you want to tell?
It's a funny story. We can kind of both tell it. It's cool.
Okay.
You can get both of our perspectives.
Okay, yes. I do this with all the bands, by the way.
How did y'all meet?
How did we meet? So, I was actually signed to an agency, so I do modeling as well.
Okay.
And my agency was like, you know what? There's a movie set kind of going on in Frisco, Texas. If you want to go to it, why not?
Mm-hmm.
And so I was like, sure, I don't have anything going on. Why not? So I show up to the movie set, and in movie sets, man, there's so many people there. So you have to park like super far away, and you have to bring like extra clothes. You just never know what kind of scene it's going to be.
Okay.
So I'd brought a backpack full of clothes. I'd parked like a mile away. I arrived to a movie scene, and I see this guy standing outside of his truck. And I'm not going to lie, there's about like 3 or 4 other girls around there. And so I just, had to make a move.
Yeah.
So is that your perspective
Yeah,
too? Or you like, I was
it's-
surrounded by these women, but she beat them all up. And
She fought her way in there,
Yeah.
Yeah, it was pretty. I mean, we're just waiting out for this movie to start. And she walked up. She's like, "Hey, can I put my backpack in your truck?" I was like, "No,
what
you can't."
a move!
No, I was like, "Absolutely, you can put it." I got a whole bed right there. You can put
That's
3
why I
backpacks.
bought it. That's why I have it. It fits. Do you have more backpacks?
Yeah.
How many backpacks do we need
Exactly.
to fit?
So
man.
Yeah.
I actually left with her backpack, and I was like,
Yep.
"Oh snap! I forgot." So I went back, got
Yeah.
it. That was when Snapchat just came out.
Okay.
So we exchanged Snapchats, stayed in touch through there, and
Yeah.
had our first date over at the yogurt shop here in Denton.
Oh,
Yeah.
nice.
Yeah, right off 380 in University. There's a yogurt shop over there. We sat and talked for like 4 hours, and
Nice.
it was just crazy meeting someone in Texas that had the entertainment goals, the music goals, the same goals as I did. So we were just kind of hooked from that
Yeah.
first date.
Yeah.
And so, what were you doing at a movie
Yeah.
set that day?
I don't know. I just showed up.
funny.
I
Yeah.
saw all these these people. No,
Yeah.
I was with an agency too. They did music, modeling, and acting, and I was
Awesome.
with their musicians. But they were like, "Hey, we really need some extras," and I was like, "I don't look movie ready. I just got back from a ski trip. I was playing at a concert in New Mexico. I broke my arm, and I was like, just not movie ready." And they just were like, "Come on." So I finally was like, I got nothing to lose. It's better than being home and depressed, not being able to do it.
Yeah.
So I just went,
Yeah.
So it was just crazy how it turned
So
out.
isn't
Yeah.
that wild that if you if you hadn't said yes to that,
I know.
maybe it's like, and who knows? You get there and they're like, we needed an extra with a broken arm. This is perfect.
Well, they did, and they're like, "Oh, use the guy with the broken arm. It's funnier." And I was like, "Oh man, I'm gonna be like the
Yes.
laughing guy
Like,
of
we
this
don't even,
video."
we don't even need a prop. It's already
Yeah,
there.
exactly.
That is,
Exactly.
that's
exactly.
awesome. That's
So-
awesome.
Yeah.
And then love spawns over yogurt as it has through the
Yes.
centuries.
Yeah,
As
right.
it has through the centuries. So as you guys did you guys start talking about music right away when you were getting to know each other? How did you guys start to develop the project now, which is Willow+Wife?
Oh man, the Willow+Wife project developed over time. So
It
we
did,
were
yeah.
dating for 2 years, and we really never did music together. She
Okay.
was
Yeah.
on her path, and I was on my path.
Right.
You were doing R&B and pop, EDM. And I
At
was,
the same time, I was also worship leading, so we were both kind of doing separate
Everything.
things. Yeah.
yeah. As a musician, just making it work. you know?
Yeah. Sleeping when that's
Yeah.
yeah.
So it developed. I mean, I lost my voice. I had like a vocal injury. I couldn't sing for a year. I had to cancel all my own shows.
Oh man.
And she was just doing her music still, but I found myself making EDM music because I
Okay.
still had to make music. I couldn't.
Yep.
Even though if you can't sing, you just got to make music. So I was like, I really don't know what to release this music as. It doesn't sound like Nick Locken. So I was like, maybe I should release it under the name Willow. Me and my brother used to swing on weeping willow trees at my grandparents' farm, so it meant a lot
Okay.
to us.
Yeah.
So I was like, let me call it Willow. We showed a couple friends at a ski trip, and we showed them your music, and they kind of sounded similar. So they're like, why don't y'all go like Willow+Wife? I mean, it's like
Why don't y'all
EDM.
do it together?
Yeah. And it
Yeah.
clicked. It was like, we are married.
Oh.
Like, why don't we do music together? It just
Yeah.
made
So
sense.
looked at each
Yeah.
other. Why didn't we think of this?
Yeah, pretty much.
We've been hanging out.
for years now.
Years.
So yeah, that's how it started. It started in
Mhm.
Park City, Utah. Shout out Miles and Heidi Stallard for giving us
that
that name too.
idea.
Yeah.
That's cool.
That's very cool. And so when you were kind of doing the R&B, bit of a twist of EDM with the kind of pop stuff, were you out playing shows as well, or is kind of like a studio thing? What was going on with that?
So I've been writing forever,
Okay.
and so I was like, you know what? I really do want to pursue music. I kind of actually got a job just so that I could pay for music.
Yep.
And so I started to develop my own sound. I found a producer who I really loved his work, and I took him just the songs that I had written, and he was like, okay, we can put kind of like a 5 EP together.
Yeah.
Start from there and see like where we go after that. So we actually got to make 2 songs, and they went really well. I mean, for the time that it was at, it was way ahead of its time. And so I just kind of was waiting until I finished my whole EP to release it.
Yeah.
But at the time, my producer kind of got busy as he was kind of an artist of his own and had a baby, just a lot of things going
That
on.
will take up a lot of your time.
Yeah, speaking of.
It will take up much of your time.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
Yes.
Yeah, she actually comes to shows with me. Like when I play,
so cool.
my buddies will watch her while I play.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
My friend Lee has gotten quite good at it.
As she should. She needs to go to her dad's
Yeah,
shows. That's
yeah.
awesome. That's
Yeah,
really
she
cool.
falls
cool.
asleep when I play, though. It's all right. I
Is
love
that
it.
good or?
Yeah, I think it's great.
I think it's good, right?
I think it's a good thing. I mean, she was coming to shows before she was born, with mom.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
mom would come and watch me, and then we leave. So I'm like, okay, it's soothing
Tradition.
in a way. But
Yeah.
you talk about it being ahead of its time, and I agree because something that I noticed recently about kind of pop songs or even
Yeah.
kind of rockin' away is you can almost hear that they're making it for someone to remix. They're
Yeah.
waiting for, they're like, okay, because if one of those people gets a hold of it, boom, and that people are going to go listen to that song again and again and again. And the remix, I've had songs where the remixes got the band more attention than the
Oh,
original
yeah.
time they recorded it. And,
sure.
you didn't have a lot of people making R&B and EDM and that kind of stuff combined.
Yeah.
Especially early on when that
Yeah.
stuff was first coming up, it was mostly remixes.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so I
Thank
Yeah,
you.
I
applaud,
know,
applaud
right?
you for taking that on.
Thank
Very
you.
good idea. Very good kind of like seeing, witnessing that
you.
future, because that's what you have to do in this business is
Yeah.
you have to stay ahead of that curve in a way.
Yes.
For sure. I mean, I just grew up with so many influences. Everything from Michael Jackson to Whitney Houston to Christina Aguilera, man, even like Spanish artists. Everything just kind of. I never saw my music being in one box or in one genre. I always was like, I have so many influences. There's no way that it could be in one box.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and it's great to be able to, especially you found a producer who could help you to put that all
Yeah.
together, which is great. Sometimes it can be difficult to work with certain producers and kind of envision that because you have to find a producer who's like the pitcher at the home run derby, who's like, I'm just trying to give you that perfect pitch for you to hit, to knock it out of the park,
Exactly.
And sometimes producers can get a little, like, they'll try to push their direction on you,
Yeah.
and it needs to be the opposite.
Exactly.
And
So
so,
true.
yeah, you kind of just take the back seat and be the engineer. Let the artist
Exactly.
push you and that, tell you what they want and do your best to provide that for them.
Exactly.
I learned that from one of my favorite producers from a hip hop group called Atmosphere, and their producer who goes by Ant. His name is Anthony. He was like, yeah, my job is to, I literally stole that quote from him, is to give you that perfect pitch so you can hit that
That's
home run.
really cool.
He's
I
like,
like
I
that.
make my own
Yeah.
music and stuff, but when I'm working with an artist, what I have to do is think about who is this artist? How am I going to communicate their words with my music that I'm
Yeah.
going to put with them.
Yeah.
So that's awesome that you were able to find somebody who could help you do that. Children do make it busier though. And
Definitely.
and you were saying you had been, you were like, I had to cancel a whole year of shows and stuff like that. So where were you playing, man?
Before that, I was playing everywhere. Literally from Nashville to LA. We toured just nonstop shows for like 4 years.
Were you in a band or was it just you?
Yeah, it was me. We went under my name, Nick Locken, and
Okay.
we had a band. I mean, we played acoustic shows to full band shows. I mean, we had some shows included like whole horn sections and backup singers. I mean, they got up to like 12-piece bands. So
yeah, that's the real deal, man.
yeah, it was
That's
really
awesome.
cool. It was awesome. We had a great time. I mean, we shot music videos and had a really cool time. So
Very cool. So
yeah.
can people go find like the Nick Locken band? Like,
Absolutely, yeah. It's still at nicklocken.com.
Okay.
There's still music on iTunes, Spotify, and I'm working on some. I've worked on some stuff, and just kind of. I guess I'm gonna tell it. I'm working on releasing some new music under Nick
Nice.
Locken.
So
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Very cool,
It's
man.
So
good.
it's been finished for a while. Just getting over that creative hump to share it to the world. You know?
Nice, man.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
It takes excuse me. It takes a long it's so important, when you first start making music, you kind of can have that need, you like want to pump it out. You're like, oh, I don't,
Yeah.
and if you went and listened to the first beats I made when I was like 22, 10 years ago, when I first got Ableton, like 6, dude, we don't want to talk about it. It was awful.
I'm the same way. I got
It
some
was
garage
awful.
band stuff.
Yeah, dude, I'm sure you could find like my emo project from high school somewhere on Pure Volume,
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure if you type in the Midnight 30, which was me crying on the guitar a lot, but it's still there, but the files don't work anymore. They won't load up. It's like, dude, we got rid of that. The server is still there, but it's gone. That's really cool, man. See, I had no idea that you had traveled so much and moved all
Yeah.
around and everything.
Yeah, that was the breadwinner for a long time. Just played all around Denton. Went to UNT here and graduated. So played a lot at UNT. I really use this town. I mean, it's a huge music scene here,
Oh,
town,
yeah.
and there's a lot of musicians here. So I just try to use this as a launching pad. You know, college kids, they come and go and they can take your music everywhere. So
Yeah.
I saw college as a really cool opportunity
Yeah,
for
man.
music.
I mean, I wouldn't have done 90% of the things that I've done if it wasn't for moving here.
Yeah.
That's just the honest truth. I don't know what the other 10% would have been. Sitting in my room just making music to myself.
Yeah.
But it was moving here and getting to know people and meeting people that really helped to mold my sound and created Kind Beats.
Yeah.
Created that vision that I had.
Yeah.
So when you guys start writing music together, you're married, you're obviously getting along, but now you got to write music together.
Yeah,
You got to
yeah.
figure out
Yeah.
how to collaborate together.
Yeah.
So how did you guys start to mold those two styles and those two writings, the way that you guys would create songs? How did you start to put it together?
It was hard.
It was really hard at first.
I
yeah.
mean, it was hard to just like sing in the living room whenever you get married. Like you're coexisting now or co-living, and you gotta kind of get over your fears of performing and singing and sounding bad. Sometimes throwing weird ideas. So
Yeah.
when we came back from that ski trip, up until then we weren't really singing together.
Yeah.
And when we came back from the ski trip, we were like, let's sit down and just see what comes out.
Yeah.
And that first night we wrote our first song that we released. It was called House on the Beach. And
Okay.
we actually recorded it, but it popped out great.
Yeah.
And we just kind of kept going.
Yeah.
I mean, is that what you would say too?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I mean, we were like, we don't know where to start or how to even start, but we were like, we just got to try. And I think we just started from the beginning. And we actually found some footage from like us just sitting on a floor in our apartment in Addison. And he was just playing this beat on the guitar, and we started like writing the House on the Beach lyrics. So it's kind of cool to look back sometimes and see
Nice.
that.
Yeah. Just kind of jumped in, you know? And, but we did have those creative humps too, where it's like we're learning to work with each other. So sometimes like, we weren't feeling it.
Yeah.
But then now we know how each other works so well. We can write a song like in a few hours, you
No
know?
problem.
Yeah.
And it's not like, oh, I'm afraid to sound imperfect, or like, oh, I don't know, I don't sound as best in the morning, or
Yeah.
scratch that lyric.
Yeah.
We don't take it personal. It's more like, okay, what's going to sound like the best for this?
Yeah.
And typically, like, we just agree very much now.
We
That's-
do, yeah.
that's
It's cool.
awesome.
A lot of the same vision stuff.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I'm glad that worked out.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
crazy.
Here we
I
are.
mean, it's so crazy. So
Yeah.
I feel really lucky to be married to someone who shares the same passion for music. Because
Yeah,
you hear
that's
about
wild. Yeah.
musicians, oh, I gave it up because I got married, or and luckily that hasn't been our case yet. So
I told my girlfriend, I was like, look, I'll tell you, I always had a rule that I knew when I wanted to like be with somebody. And I said, when you call me or you text me, and if I'm working on music, you make me get up right away, no matter how creative I'm flowing, no matter how well I'm good. If I'm like, yes, I want to go hang out with you, that's when I was like, yes, you were the one, because you were the
nice. Yeah.
person who, when you called me or texted me and it was like, hey, you want to come out? I was like, yep. Other than that, I was like, nah, sorry, not tonight. I really need to stay home and be focused and work on this stuff. But then that too, you know, she was super supportive of it always, and would come to shows and would come hang out. And then, you know, I'd be like, how does that snare sound? She's like, it sounds wonderful. I'm like, it needs to have more pop. All right, well, why'd you ask me that? You know? But yeah, it's you as a musician, you know, and I tell my friends who are younger than me, you know, they'll be like, man, you know, she doesn't really ever come to the shows. And I was like, okay, but does she like the music? Then he's like, no. I'm like, does she give you a hard time when you go to play? Yeah. I'm like, I don't know, man. If this is your passion. Like,
yeah.
You know? And I recently talked to a friend. I was like, hey, he was like, no, we broke up, you know, but we're still cool. Everything's cool. You know, it wasn't, you know, it's just that difference, you know. And when you are, you know, a creative junkie in a way, you've got to have somebody who's also that way, or works very hard, which I can tell both of y'all do just by what you've been telling me all that y'all do, or just having somebody who's very supportive of it and believes in you. You know, they might not be a musician, but they see how much you love it, and they're willing to say, yes, go to the show, please come back safe.
Yeah,
you know?
Exactly.
And so that's very important to have that in a relationship.
For sure.
So
it is.
I mean, I think as creatives, you can't stop it. Like no matter what. I can't stop him. He can't stop me. You know, music can't be stopped. It's just going to happen. Yeah. So it's like you might as well encourage it, you know, instead of like, oh, yeah.
Do you guys ever just all of a sudden, like, do you just run in the room and you're like, Nick, lyrics, grab the guitar now? Or you ever just like come in and you're like, I got it.
Every day, every single day.
Yeah. I mean, that's how this song that we're going to sing today, that's exactly how that happened. So we'll talk more.
Yeah, I was doing a beat and then up ran Sudie. She was like, I hear something. I was like, you stop because you know they got it. So you're like, what do you hear? And she's saying it. I was like, record it.
Yeah, I love when that happens. Yeah. There's times where I'll be in the car and all of a sudden something pops into my head. I grab my phone and I'm like, you know, sing the melody real quick, and then I go home and then I'm like try to transpose it on the keys. I'm like, come on, make it right. You know, and then finally it works. You know?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I love when that happens. That inspiration, you know, all of a sudden you like text a friend. You're like, hey, does this sound cool?
Yeah.
Send it to them, and you know, that's what me and my buddies do too. We have a whole big group chat where we send our music all to like 10 of us.
That's cool.
You know, and it's a very open, honest place where it's like, hey, I'm not really feeling it. But most of the time, it's more about like the dynamics. Oh, hey, bring your snare up, or hey, the bass line's a little like, because you know, be like, hey, can one of y'all car test this on the way to work today?
Nice.
You know, like I'm on dad duty, and so they test it in the car, and then you have that different perspective from a different pair of ears who hasn't been listening to it all day long.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's something that we like to do too, just to test the stuff. But yeah, the random sparks of inspiration. It's like, hey, I got something. I got something.
You learn to like savor those and like hold on to them and get them laid down. Cause they don't. I mean, it's weird when it happens. It's special. It's a special moment for us.
I always a long time ago I realized that I always be recording. Like when you sit down, if you're like, okay, cool, let's just play. No. Because the next thing you know, you're going to play that riff, you're going to play those far, and then it's not going to sound the same. Because maybe it was an accident that your finger slipped and hit that seventh, you know, note or something like that, and then you're like, wait, what did I just do?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So something I always tell my students is always be recording. Always be recording. When you're using Ableton, always be recording. Because the next thing you know, you're gonna do something accidentally that you realize just and then you're not going to have it, and it's going to be a tragedy.
Exactly. Voice Notes is like one of the most used apps on my phone.
Okay.
And, you know,
what is this app? What's Voice Notes?
Voice Notes. It's just like the voice recording on the iPhone.
Okay. Now I see what you're saying. And I was like, wait, can you like sing it and like transpose it?
Oh, that'd be really cool. That'd be a cool app.
There we go. Somebody out there
making millions off this.
Take that idea, throw me and the Willow+Wife, a little something on the side.
There
It'll
we go.
Be cool. Little
royalty income.
Yeah, a little royalties. So let's kind of talk about now that you guys went to New Orleans, you've played that show. Do you guys have some stuff going on here in Texas coming up?
We do. We have lots of stuff coming up. We are working on bookings right now. We're talking with Texas Live, the new ballpark in Arlington.
Nice.
We've been talking with Legacy, the new place over by the new Cowboys practice facility.
Yeah.
We've been talking with some venues in California. So right now it's all logistics and planning and Hawaii. We're releasing dates probably at the end of this month for all the shows for the remaining of the year. Yeah. So it's It's a lot, but it's
if
really
you need
exciting.
someone to carry your things when you go to Hawaii, let me know.
Yes.
we were talking about that.
You know,
I'm just
I'll
kidding.
get on the shoulder press right away. And
Yeah.
sling those bags over and be on my way.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
But it's been nice. We've been in the studio for the past 2 years just
Yeah.
creating the identity of us.
Okay.
You know, the songs, the
the
music,
sound.
the images, the sound, and now it's finally, we got 12 songs we released over the past 2 years, and it's now time to show them to the world. So
Yeah,
it's a
man.
really exciting year.
And that's great that y'all took the time to build up a nice portfolio.
Yeah.
And I feel like you having done some modeling, you guys having done some acting, that was almost like something you knew to do, is develop this portfolio, and then show what you've got going on. That's the same as James Kaufman, the photographer, was like, you need to develop a portfolio first and then kind of start pushing your stuff out there a little bit more.
Absolutely, yeah. Because
Definitely.
I've been on the opposite side where you try and push something with nothing,
Yeah.
and you're just you're doing cover songs, and maybe you're performing at places that aren't really you. And
Yeah.
so we really wanted to get to hone in on our skills and get specific on where we wanted to play. Like resorts and coastal towns,
Festivals.
and festivals,
Yeah.
parties, high energy stuff. So that's kind of where we're going to
Definitely.
be at this year. It's really exciting.
That's what's up, man.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
awesome. That is awesome. So you guys are going to do a live performance tonight. I'm really
Yes.
excited about this. That's going to be coming up here in just a minute. So what is the name of this song called?
It is called Arriba.
Arriba. Now, for those of us who speak no Spanish, what does arriba mean?
Arriba. So it means, it's kind of like get up, or like let's go, kind of like a thing.
Okay.
I mean,
just want everybody to know, I do know Spanish. I know what arriba means. All right.
Yeah.
That's why I rolled the R.
I was gonna congratulate you. Not a lot of
Yeah,
people.
I know. That was what Miss Mahan, my 1st through 4th grade teacher, she was like, this kid can roll his R's. She was my Spanish tutor all the way to till 12th grade.
Oh, nice.
I know. I wasn't very good at it, but I wanted to be.
I can roll R's. I can get those.
In college, I got
Yeah.
way. When I took it, it started making a lot more sense to
Uh-huh.
me. I wasn't as distracted too. So.
You did Spanish in college as well?
Yeah.
Are you fluent in it?
No, not at all. I had a B+ average when I was done. So
That's
it was
pretty good.
it was
That's pretty
enough
good.
to if I met somebody or if I was in Mexico. My brother lives in Mexico half the year, so if I were to go down there, I could hold my own.
Oh, nice. That's really cool.
That's good.
I could walk into a place, order food, be respectful, and use the usted, ustedes, and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Know how to approach people correctly. Now, if I go over to Spain, I have no, it's a completely different type of
It is.
Spanish
Yeah.
over there. So I'd have no clue. But I consider the fact that I can hold my own, and even after when I would love working in kitchens, because kitchens are one of the funnest places to learn Spanish,
Oh, I bet.
especially when they don't realize you can speak it and they're talking that mad trash behind your back.
I feel you.
But then all of a sudden you flip around and you say something back and they're like, oh,
You got him.
he knows. And next thing you know, you're cool.
Yeah.
You're cool, man. You're bumped up from fry cook to like grill cook right away.
Promotion.
Yeah.
Give this guy a burger.
Yeah, exactly. There was a guy, because I worked at LSA for years. I worked over
Oh,
there.
nice,
That's
okay.
where I met Jake.
Oh, nice.
And how I
cool.
found myself in this room. And there was this guy who used to put jalapenos on, massive amounts, or serranos. Just like I'd come in, I'd order like a salad, and he would just stack it with serranos. And oh man, one day I went back there and he just he was just like, okay, man, no more serranos, my bad. And I was just like, yeah. But I said all these words to him in Spanish, so he was like, all right, cool. Like,
Get it.
serranos are done.
No more.
Yeah. But anyways, that's enough about my fear of serranos being hidden in my salad from here on out. Let's go ahead and let's get this song underway, y'all. So
Yeah.
this
Absolutely.
track right here, is this a single or is this part of the album or?
Yes, this is single.
Single?
We've released nothing but singles so
Okay,
far. I
cool.
think we're going to continue.
Yeah.
We usually release about a single a month.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, so there's
Great
constantly new
workflow.
music. And
One coming up this month.
yes,
Awesome.
yeah, we have
Yeah.
new song February
Awesome,
28th.
cool.
But yeah,
All right, cool. Are y'all ready to get it underway?
absolutely.
go.
All right, cool. This is Willow+Wife with Arriba.
Creo que tú y yo podemos ir ahí. Creo que tú y yo podemos ir ahí. Hey. Te tengo lo que la vida viene adentro. Te siento
Siento
lo que me mueve cuerpo.
Cuerpo.
Arriba, arriba, lo que la vida llega arriba, arriba. Mi vida, lo que la vida llega arriba, arriba. Creo que tú y yo podemos ir ahí, creo que tú y yo podemos ir ahí, creo que tú y yo podemos ir ahí, creo que tú y yo podemos ir ahí.
Yeah, I see you staring back at me with those brown eyes, baby. We can go down to Main Street, dance all night to the beat. I'ma take you back with me, make it just about you and me. Dance all night to the beat, make it just about you and me.
Creo que tú y yo podemos ir ahí, creo que tú y yo podemos ir ahí, creo que tú y yo podemos ir ahí, creo que tú y yo podemos ir ahí.
I'm back like never before, y'all. Didn't go nowhere, just been up here chilling down on the top floor, y'all. Here we go, my name is Willow, so much go, gotta put it in my pillow. Not really known for my rhymes, though, just a wild boy from south of Amarillo. Moved out here to the west coast, not really sure if I should say or go. I do know one thing is that I like to drop all those bars, yo. Here we go, don't really plan on getting old. Gonna live my life all day, all night till I max out my time, yo.
Creo que tú y yo podemos ir ahí, creo que tú y yo podemos ir ahí, creo que tú y yo podemos ir ahí, creo que tú y yo podemos ir ahí. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, that was fantastic,
Thank
y'all.
you, thank you,
That
thank you,
was
thank you.
great. That was great. Willow+Wife right there with the track Arriba.
Arriba.
So, that was awesome.
Little Spanish vibe.
I brought that's a dope song.
Thank you.
You know, that's what I mean. Is there's so many different styles in there. You're not only, I mean, like myself, somebody who likes hip hop can appreciate all of a sudden, like, wait a minute, this dude's playing the guitar and rapping,
Yeah.
you know, and then you have, you know, the great Spanish going over the top of it with that with the beautiful voice. The guitar sounds great. It all meshes so fantastic.
Thank you.
And then what, like the little flow in there. I feel like when you do that song live, like everybody goes, oh, at that part. You know?
He's rapping.
Yeah, we can do it.
Yeah, no one expected.
yeah.
I know.
I certainly didn't. I'm sorry I didn't, but you know,
That was cool.
but
That's
that's
good.
great, man. No, that was awesome.
Thank
Really,
you.
really, really good job, y'all.
Appreciate it.
And like I said, it's gonna be in my head for like when Zeke Forever came on the show, I could not stop singing his song "Golden" like in my head. Like I
Good.
still to this day do it. Like he even had a shirt that came out with he came out with a shirt that has the lyric on it that I sing all the time. I was like, I gotta buy that shirt.
There you go. Yeah.
Maybe it'll help me from not
That's
stop
awesome.
singing this all the time.
Nice.
So where can people find that song if they want to hear it again?
Anywhere. Spotify,
Everywhere.
Apple, YouTube. I mean, just online. Just Willow+Wife, and
Okay.
that one's called Arriba.
That was actually gonna be
Arriba.
my question because you know sometimes you go Willow, then it's the
Yeah,
plus sign.
yeah.
Yeah.
So people put the and, you know, it might
yeah,
not
it's,
pop
it's
up.
weird.
You
It
know?
doesn't
Yeah,
pop up whenever you
I
have Willow
know.
and Wife. I mean, probably later on, the more we put stuff out, but right now it's just Willow+Wife.
Yeah, for sure. That's awesome, man. Yeah. So when you said when you were writing that song, you were just up there playing and you heard it and boom, inspiration came.
Yeah, it was it's a cool story. I mean, like the whole song, even to the cover art. So we were in Huntington Beach, California.
Okay.
We were living in this condo by the beach, and all of a sudden, it was kind of like a two-story thing. So he was upstairs. We had a studio up there, and he started playing that beat that you heard.
Yeah.
And I was downstairs, no lie, sweeping, and I was like, like I just started hearing it and hearing it, and I was like, man, I think I hear something. I don't know. And then I went up there and I was like, hey, I think I hear something.
Nice.
And I was like, what do you hear? And she did it. I was like, Yeah,
Yeah.
that was dope.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
perfect.
He was
That's
like, let's
wonderful.
record it. And then, but that's all I had heard from right then. And then he was like, keep going. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know what else. Because usually, like, when I write songs, we sit down sometimes and we have pen and paper or like even our phones on our notes. And we take our time, we think about like the words that we want to say. And that one kind of was just on the spot. And so I looked at him and I knew our situation, what was going on. And I was just like, what the words mean is like, I got you. No matter like what's going on in life, I got you. And I can feel you, no matter what, like, I believe you and me can make it, can do whatever we want. So at the time, I just looked at him and I saw where we were at, and the words kind of just came out on the spot. So
Yeah, it was really cool. It came out really fast. Like the whole song, we laid down. It started with the guitar and like the beat that you hear behind it, and we just started adding like whistles and like weird noise. We're like, let's make this thing come alive and feel like a party. So the actual like where the rap is, we had it. That was like it wasn't gonna be me rapping. We're like, we should like do a collab and like get into some other circles. But the next day I was like, I just got to finish this song, and I was like, let me just see if I can come up with something, and I just wrote it up there. And I mean, it was just weird how sometimes songs come out in a day, and then some songs take like a year, but that one was just like, it came out really fast.
So much gold, got to keep it in my pillow.
Not really known for my rhymes though, you know?
No, that was great, man. I heard it right away and I was like, I like that one. That one was clever. I think it was great, man. And so, and you are right, man. The way that some songs can happen in a day and some songs take 2 weeks. And, I've heard a lot of people say like your best songs will always be the ones that happen supernaturally and just appear. You take too much time on it. Next thing you know, you're overthinking it, and then your ears get tired. You start to hear noises that aren't even there. You start to hear tones that don't even exist, and then you gotta like totally take some time away from it.
Yeah, we just met, official new Cupid, and I went and talked to with his producer pre-show, and he was like, yeah, actually, I was like, do you make all of his beats and music? And he's like, yeah, I actually made the Cupid Shuffle. I was like, no way. I was like, we used to jam that so hard, like all the time. And I still do. It's a great song. And he's like, man, it was so simple. Cupid just came in and he was like, I wanted to make something really simple that people could dance to. And it was just weird how like the simplest songs are always kind of like the biggest ones. So it was crazy.
When I was watching like the Hip Hop Revolution on Netflix, they talk a lot about like the importance of that type of dance, like dance hall almost. When people request, you got any dance hall music? I'm like, what do you mean? They're like Cupid Shuffle or something like that. I'm like, oh, okay. And they talk about how it was important. Like there were rappers who were coming out with these songs with dance moves, and different neighborhoods had different dance moves that you did in different states and cities. And, we still, even like we were talking about TikTok, you can see that on TikTok today. All the different types of dances that you see, from the whip to the nene, whatever you want to call it.
Everything.
There's just, it's just an integral part in there. But, I really like that song. I think it's a great song. That was fantastic stuff.
Thank you. Really appreciate it. Thank you for letting us perform on there.
Oh man,
really cool.
absolutely. It's my pleasure. Seriously, that's one of my favorite. That's why we have the show to find good music and talk with good people. Okay, so we've got a couple minutes left here. So people can find y'all all over the internet. Willow+Wife. Do you guys have like a specific website, or is it just mostly of the social media kind of?
Right now, it's all social media.
Okay.
We're kind of revamping the website, consolidating things. But
we just got some new merch and
new
pictures, so we're kind of revamping everything.
We got a whole new merch store about to drop too. So I mean, more than just T-shirts, something that people can really dive into. But right now, everything's on like Instagram or TikTok and Spotify and iTunes. It's just
Willow+Wife.
Okay.
Yeah. Awesome.
So
awesome.
If you follow those, you'll see updates for like the website and the merch site and all that stuff. But it'll be dropping in the next couple of weeks.
Right on.
Yeah.
Now, there's something that I have to ask everybody before they leave. It's a very important question. Now, I know y'all both are very, very healthy people, okay?
Yes.
But I need to know, what are y'all's favorite snacks?
Oh, man.
Because if I come to a show, I like to bring snacks.
Oh, yes. Who is this? This is the best. best ever.
I've never seen.
We need to come
I
back.
haven't seen DJ Una yet, but when I do, I will bring her an avocado with Icelandic sea salt.
Oh,
I like that. That's
I like
different.
That. That's fancy.
That's what she said.
Okay.
She's an avocado with Icelandic sea salt. I was like, ooh, what if it's pink Himalayan? She was like, get it out of here.
Hey, we'll take the pink Himalayan.
Yeah, we'll take it.
That's our
We'll
snack
take
of
it.
choice.
Yeah, okay.
Man,
So, yeah.
snacks go so hard in
I
our household.
know,
I mean,
what?
late night munchies take a part in our loft every single
Every
day.
single night, yeah.
So I would say, what's yours? What's your snack of choice?
No, snack of choice. I'm trying to think. Recently, I don't know. I've been kind of like on a trail mix kind of
Yes,
thing.
yeah.
Like
Dried fruit.
like
you know?
dried fruit, kind of. I don't know. That's a little healthy.
She's
but
so
Yeah,
healthy.
no, it's okay.
She's so
That's what I
healthy.
said. It's okay
I
to
know,
have the
it's kinda
healthy
healthy.
snacks.
Yeah, yeah.
Not everybody has to answer spicy Cheetos. Okay?
I love
I
spicy
mean,
Cheetos.
I like
Yeah.
cookie dough ice cream.
There you
I do.
go.
I
Yeah.
like it. I like
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
My snack of choice. I mean, every night I'm putting down a bar of chocolate. Like
Yeah.
every single night,
true.
there's a
Oh,
bar of chocolate
man.
going down. It's got to
Yeah.
be frozen though, like a
Really?
frozen bar of chocolate.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, it's the
Yeah,
best.
I'm gonna freeze my bars of chocolate. From now on. We at work, me and a couple of the guys, we have a chocolate stash. It's like this little tiny drawer,
Nice.
and every once in a while, my buddy's like, "Yo, I put some Ferrero Rochers or whatever they're called." in there."
Oh, that's so
I'm
good.
like, okay,
So
sweet. And then
good.
I'm like, yo, I put some Tony, like this Tony's chocolate you can get at the organic grocery store. It's like the best chocolate. They're like these big old bars. I'm like, hey, I dropped one of those in there today. He's like, all right, cool. And then like you'll go there and all of a sudden there'll be one little block left. You're like, okay, got to refill the chocolate stash. I knew there's a reason
We're
we
out
were
of
friends.
chocolate.
Man. The chocolate.
Yeah, right. That's awesome.
Yeah, I've had so many different answers to that question throughout the years. My besides the Icelandic sea salt, I remember one guy was like, "Oh, dude, I just like some bread. Just like some good bread, dude."
What is
some
yours?
bread.
What is your snack
Yeah.
of choice?
Oh man, so I am a big like a huge thing that I'm a peanut butter and apples late night. You know, peanut butter and apple.
Yo, I love peanut
He
butter and
that's
apple.
what I
loves
do.
peanut butter
dude.
and apples,
Like man, I have the ability to gain 12 pounds in a day if I feel the need to. And I've proved this to my brother before. He's like, no, you can't. I was like, just watch. Just watch. I'll step on the scale now. Let's hit the buffet and just you wait. So in order to control that, I had to start finding snacks that were like, you know, viable and like good for me in a way. So an apple and peanut butter, it just has all those, it has a little bit of sweetness, the
Oh,
crunch,
so
the
good.
protein that I,
So
you know,
good.
Absolutely.
everything that I kind of need, and then a little glass of tea, and,
Okay.
then I'm out, you know.
Yeah.
But something else I started too recently, man, was bone broth.
Bone
Whoa.
broth.
Yeah, it was it's crazy. It's bison bone broth, and so it's bison apple cider vinegar bone broth, and
Whoa.
it's just really apparently very very good for you, and it's like this it's like old world medicine, as
Yeah.
you know,
I feel like trying that.
Grandmas,
Yeah.
you know, these grandmas in Norway are like, I've been alive for 900 years. I drink this bone broth. Yeah. But yeah, it's something that I started trying because I saw a lot of people recommending it as, you know, as far as like weight control and stuff like that. And like I said, my metabolism's terrible. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, but that stuff's delicious too. And you literally heat it up and then you pour it in a cup and you just drink it. And,
Whoa.
and it's like a whole meal, apparently. It's
No
like just,
way.
yeah. So I
Dang.
use that too. And it takes care of all of my snacking needs.
There you
go.
You know, when I
Okay.
don't have my
Yeah.
apples and peanut butter.
I gotta try
I've
some
heard
bone
that,
broth.
yeah.
I gotta try
I
that.
Yeah,
know.
give it a
Yeah.
shot. Give it a shot.
Tonight.
Yeah,
Tonight.
Tonight.
Gonna be cooking up.
Get the good stuff, you know. Pay the $5.95. Do not go get some like Swanson chicken broth. Get some good stuff. Okay, so also before we go, I know we kind of talked about this earlier, but I want to recap. Do we have some shows coming up? If people want to come out and check y'all live, where can they come see you?
Yes, right now, I mean, I'll be releasing the dates in like the next 2 weeks. We're
Yeah.
like zoning in, we're negotiating. So in 2 weeks I'll have all of
Definitely.
those.
Yeah,
So
but
right now.
we do have a new song coming out
Okay.
later on this month, February
Awesome.
28th.
February
February
28th,
28th.
And
yes.
it's called Better Life.
Nice.
So
Better Life.
that's
yes.
going to be really cool and exciting for us.
Yes, available on all streaming
Everywhere.
platforms. So
That's what's up.
super cool
man.
song.
Really.
Yeah.
All right. Well, guys, I appreciate y'all so much for
Thank
coming on the
you.
show
Yeah,
tonight.
thank you for
Fantastic
having
live
us.
performance. Great conversation. See, didn't I tell you the time was going to fly by?
It has. It really
Wow.
does.
7:50.
Wow.
And we're here chilling. Oh man. Well, once again, y'all, we have had Willow+Wife on the show tonight. Y'all have been watching Sound Values. Next week, I have live like Liam on the show. He's recovering from the flu, and I'm excited to get him on the show. Up next, we have Ellie Bell and the Denton Vibe. So y'all stay live right here on DentonRadio.com. See you next week. Peace.
Well, thank you for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the show. We want to thank our partners and sponsors who made this show possible. And now stick around for a word from all of us here at Discover Denton. Do you love live music? If so, make Denton, Texas your next vacation. Find more information at discoverdenton.com.